Brighton and Hove Albion have built a super team. In this video, I will show you exactly why I think this squad is good enough to break into the top 6 again, and as Fabian Hürzeler himself says,
I want to achieve big things and I want to challenge the establishment.
You might be looking at this title and hearing what I'm saying here and thinking, I have lost the plot. And you could potentially be right, but this team is special. The new arrivals fit perfectly. Hürzeler looks to be able to start to mould the team into his preferred system, and Brighton continues to develop players into massive profits despite the fact that everybody has said that this was unsustainable. The idea of Brighton becoming European regulars is now a genuine goal set each year at the club that is really starting to become a reality. Tony Bloom has perfected a model that allows Brighton to operate at this level despite not having the stature in the game historically for it to make sense, nor really the financial means to do so. Let me start with how I think this upcoming season is Brighton's chance to take over. Look at the rest of the league and the competition at the top. Chelsea, Spurs, Villa, Newcastle, they're all in European competitions of some magnitude next year. And obviously it's not only them, as 9 English clubs will be playing in Europe in 2025-2026. This means that they're even more open to injuries, rotated squads, and then throwing away points. And can we really say that teams like Crystal Palace and Forest have the squad depth to compete at full throttle in all competitions? I don't think I can, which leaves an opportunity. Brighton finished 8th last year. They beat City, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham, if that's even an achievement after their last year. But still, the consistency wasn't there, but clearly the potential was. I mean, there were some glaring examples of this inconsistency, as some weeks you would see prime Barcelona and others you would lose 7-0 to Forest. But I seriously think that this team is capable of achieving big next year. Speaking of, you remember the Nottingham Forest embarrassment, the 7-0 loss. After the game, Hürzeler literally burned the tactics. I'm not even kidding, and it worked. Next thing, they go unbeaten for weeks, beat Chelsea, Newcastle, and put together a run of 7 games unbeaten. This ability to adapt and not stay stubborn on one ideology that clearly isn't working shows the levels a young manager like Fabian can go on to achieve, and again, this squad really has the ability to do it with him, especially with the new additions, of whom are Kostoulas, a 30 million Greek under-21 striker who looks a serious wonder kid who could have a big breakout season. Simas, another Greek talent who was actually signed last year but loaned out straight away to develop and is back this season. Diego Coppola for 9 million from Verona, who is a calm centre-back on the ball, and that's in a position that we really did need to focus on. Alongside Boscagli, who joined on a free from PSV and brings flexibility as he can also play on the left as well as a centre-back whilst entering the peak time of his career with experience of some of the best leagues in Europe. And finally, De Cuyper, a wing-back for 17 million from Club Brugge who looks very strong going forward and is potentially a sign that Hürzeler is going to adopt a back 5 next season. These are some great signings, and the window is not closed yet. They're building the spine and adding some crucial depth to attack multiple competitions at once and not be crippled by a couple of injuries like we have done in the past couple of seasons. And probably even more crucially, Mitoma and Baleba stayed, at least so far, but we'll get back to them. As well as these signings, you have a couple of young, promising players in true Brighton fashion who have been having the time to develop before getting first team minutes. There are a couple examples of this, but the one I'd really like to mention here is Malik Yalcouyé. He's 19 and joined Brighton from Sweden in 2024 and was loaned out to Sturm Graz, where he won the Austrian League and was man of the match in a Champions League game against Borussia Dortmund. He really reminds me of an N'Golo Kante, and to be honest, he should probably take inspiration from Kante and go bold, because at 19 this hairline is pretty diabolical, and that's coming from me. Back to Mitoma and Baleba. This is pretty huge. They've kept their stars. Mitoma got 10 goals, 37 chances created and 126 successful dribbles last year, and that's just the stats. It does not take much football knowledge at all to appreciate how good this guy is. He passes every single eye test and is quite possibly the most skilled player I've ever had the pleasure of watching play in front of my own eyes, let alone in my team's kit. And then there's Carlos Baleba. The guy is an absolute engine. with about 6.5 ball recoveries per 90, 199 duels won, and 10 progressive carries last year. Plus, he has an absolute cannon of a strike in him too, with 2 screamers against West Ham and Wolves. The guy is a tank. He is strong, he can drive the ball forward with brilliant skill, he just does everything so effortlessly. Plus, he also backflips when he scores, which justifies his £100 million price tag alone. And if Caicedo was 115 million, then this guy is absolutely in that same ballpark. But the fact that these guys could be staying also signals a sign of intent. If it is just João Pedro who leaves the club as a major sale this summer, then we've had an incredibly successful window. And my thoughts on that João Pedro deal I've covered in a video already if you want to go and check that out after this one. Now, look at his squad depth. Coppola, Boscagli, Van Het, Dunk, Webster all rotating at centre back. De Cuyper if Estupinan leaves, and if he doesn't, then even better. A midfield with Baleba, Ayari, Yalcouyé, Gomez to name a few, and the attacking options of Mitoma, Rutter, Kostoulas, Welbeck, Minte. It's genuinely a strong side, and we have a good chance of competing this year. Hürzeler can use this to rotate, shift shape, and keep pressing intensity without overworking any one specific player over the course of the season. And in the grand scheme of things, as simple as it sounds, that's how you avoid fatigue and get consistent results over 38 games. So, is top 6 realistic? Mate, anything can happen in football, and with the quality of the Premier League now, which I've also done a video on, means nothing is guaranteed, but I really do think Brighton have a brilliant chance this year to do something special and get us back into our European competition. Stranger things have absolutely happened. With that, who would you pick to be Brighton's breakout star next season? Drop it down in the comments and I might feature your take in the next video. And if you believe that the Seagulls could be climbing back into the top 6, hit that like button and subscribe, it helps the channel out massively. Fade to black.